off by reviewing the two forms of communication, verbal and nonverbal. Can anybody tell me what verbal communication is?
When you speak words out of your mouth to another person.
Okay, what's your name?
Taylor.
Okay. Okay, so communication is a two-way street, right? It's typically done between two people. How about nonverbal communication? What's nonverbal
Hand
communication?
gestures.
Hand gestures, right? What else? The look on your face, okay. How about like what you three are doing?
Body language.
Body language, okay. So the other part of communication is active listening, okay. So does anybody know what active listening is? So we know when we're talking to someone that we hear people, right? You hear what they say. Okay, so what's active listening?
Like when you actually understand and know what the person's saying instead of it just like going in one ear and flying out the other.
Exactly. So active listening, and I'm going to pass around a sheet for you guys to go ahead and fill out so that you guys can just pass them down. So active listening is not just hearing what that person is saying to you, but actually understanding what they're saying and finding meaning in what they're saying, okay? Whatever's left, you guys can just put it down there. Okay. So has everybody got the meaning? Go ahead and fill in that first line there. Active listening is not just hearing what that person is saying, but understanding and finding the meaning in that. Okay, so why do you think it's important to be an active listener? And this kind of goes hand in hand too with what you guys have been, talking about as far as your futures. You know, you're going to college, you're going to get jobs. Why is it important to be an active listener?
Maybe because you'll remember like what they were talking about more and you'll understand it better than you would if you're just like listening to them without really thinking about it.
Okay. So to have a better understanding. Anybody else? How about you guys?
What about being an active
Yeah,
listener?
why is it important?
So you get the importance out of what's being told you.
Okay, which is pretty much what Taylor just said. Okay, what else?
Oh, I'm sorry, David.
How about not just professionally, but how about socially? How about with your friends? Why is it important to listen? Or family?
If you have plans or something that you need to get to, you gotta know the time, what place, and all that other good stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it's a sign of respect.
Okay, it's a sign of respect for anybody, right? Okay. Let's go back to social though. Okay, too. Say your friend comes to you and says, "My dog died." Right? Okay. They want you to be there for support, right? So those are a couple things. There's other things like, to work better with teams. When you have coworkers, to resolve problems. That's important too. Those are reasons why you should be an active listener. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make two lists, okay? And you have spaces on your forms to document some reasons here, or some skills in this situation. What are active listening skills? What skills can you show that shows that you're being an active listener? Nodding, very good. Note taking. What's your name? Kaylin and John. Okay, good. What else can you do to show that you're an active listener? Eye contact. That is a big one, right? Eye contact. If I'm not looking at you, I'm probably not listening to you. Okay. So what else? Anybody got any other ones?
Responding.
Responding. Very good. Okay. Those are some good ones. Okay, so a couple other ones that I'm gonna give to you are try not to be distracted. It's very easy to be distracted. We had nod, smile, Note that your posture is inviting, so don't sit there and cross your arms, like turn your head away, right? Okay, and let them finish their thoughts too. That shows that you're an active listener. Let them finish what they're saying. Everybody ready to move on? Okay, so what shows that you are not being an active listener?
Like looking away from the person, or like doodling and just, or like maybe talking to someone else.
Okay, having another conversation. Go ahead.
You're on your phone.
You're on your phone. That's a big one these days, right? That shows I'm not listening to you. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to read a couple articles. I need a volunteer. What's your name?
I'm Trevor.
Trevor. Okay, come on up, Trevor.
All right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're not listening to Trevor. Okay? So, we're not listening to Trevor. Trevor, you're not going to read the title of this article,
All right.
okay? Because if you read the title, that probably is going to give away what the article's about. I'm going to give you one appropriately for, probably for you. So, he's going to read. Let's just read this first page, okay? You don't have to read all of it. You guys do not show that you're being active listeners, please. Okay, go ahead.
Johnny Manziel won't forget November 17th, 2015. I only did the Browns thing, Manziel. He had started. Manziel on off the field by handing him the back off. 6 games of the season.
You can stop. All right. I think we've made our point. Did anybody hear a word he said?
No.
Okay. What? Okay. But you didn't retain anything he said, right?
What was it about?
It was about Johnny Manziel. I tried to pick local articles that were, you know, this came from the Akron Beacon Journal yesterday. So Johnny Manziel vows to prove himself as Browns name him starter. NFL says it won't punish him, because that's obviously a big thing for those of you that are Cleveland Brown fans, right? So obviously we didn't retain anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to read another article, a different article. That way you have no idea what we're talking about. And I expect you to use your active listening skills. So that means you're going to make eye contact with that person. Okay, you're going to listen. You're gonna put your pencils down. You're gonna turn towards this person. You're gonna listen and see what you can retain from this article. Do you wanna do it, Tina? Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna let you pick. I have two. Don't read the title of the article.
Okay.
This one or this one?
Oh. This one.
Okay.
I read the whole thing.
Let's see how far we get here.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody needs to show their active listening skills.
An Akron police van crashed into a duplex in the 600s block of Russell Avenue on Saturday night, leaving an officer with minor injuries. The officer was treated at Summa Akron City Hospital and released according to authorities. It's still unclear what led to the crash, whether it resulted in any arrests. As of Monday evening, there were no traffic reports about the crash available from police. A department spokesman had no additional information. Ron Boring, 45, who lives across Russell Avenue, rushed outside after hearing the crash about 9:30 p.m. He saw a van rolling onto its side. The van must have been going about 90 miles per hour, he said. The hazmat team had to get the officer out. Luckily, he said, no one was home or they would have had some injuries if they survived, because so much debris went through the windows. The police couldn't even bang on the door to see if anyone was home and okay, because there weren't any in front of the steps left to get to the door. Boring immediately called the neighbor and friend Richard Hatcher. Hatcher, 43, lives next door to his mother, who resides in the duplex that was struck. I was at the barber shop, but came right my way, Hatcher said. My mom went to Columbus for the weekend, and her other neighbor was in the next unit, wasn't home at the time either. He said he called his mother to tell her about the crash. When She said when she got home, 2 pieces of the guardrail were sticking out of the window. It was all busted up inside, the woman said, who declined to give her name. When I'm home, I usually stand in front of the door and sit out in front of the window, she said, pointing to the boarded up window. The van also smashed the air conditioner in the lower window.
Okay, you can stop.
Okay.
But good job. Thank you very much for those of you that volunteered. Okay, so now, what did you retain from that story? Someone almost died. Okay.
A van crashed into a house.
A van crashed into a house. Does anybody remember what time the crash occurred? 9:30. Okay. Anything else you can remember?
The guy that was floating, his last name was Boring.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay.
Nobody was at the house.
Nobody was at the house when it occurred. Okay, so you guys just displayed your active listening skills. Okay, so now there's some verbal statements that you can do to show that you're being an active listener too. Does anybody know what that might be? And we talked about the nonverbal stuff, like with the smiling and the way that we hold ourselves and that kind of thing. But what can you say to someone to show that you're being an active listener?
Yeah, I understand.
I understand. Okay, good. Anybody else? Yeah.
You could respond to what they were talking to you about.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so a couple other ones I'll just go ahead and give you are encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes, or go ahead, or uh-huh, okay? Make sure that you're clarifying what you're hearing and that you're understanding. So what I understand is, and then repeat what they said. Summarize the conversation. Ask, I thought you said this, is that what you meant? Okay, so those are some of the verbal things that you can say to someone to show that you are listening. So, does anybody have any questions or thoughts or comments? Okay, so as you guys are graduating from high school, moving on to college and jobs, and even now I'm sure some of you have jobs, you need to work on displaying your active listening skills and conversations, your communication with your employers and your friends and your family. That's all I've got. You can go ahead and shut that. Okay. Good.